let's talk about something. Let's talk about how that was an accident. This is an AR-15. This is not a machine gun or anything. It's 100% legal. I bought this with my own money, and this is mine. Plain and simple. But this video is about something different, and always keep one loaded. It's about possible imminent gun confiscation. We're talking about specifically AR-15s because, as you know, they're always targeted because they look military, just like pretty much any firearm does, if you think about it. Just because we're more used to, you know, a bolt action rifle or whatever. Don't think that because this is intended for a hunting rifle now, that it wasn't intended for killing people back in the day or hunting, you know, whatever. But this is legal. This is mine. I'm going to give you my opinion on the most legal way to keep what you own, but still be a law-abiding citizen if it comes down to it. And that's a big if because, you know, everything's back and forth always, and it always has been, always probably will be. So basically, just gonna pop these two pins. Okay. This is the lower. This is, you know, with the buffer assembly and the stock, obviously, the trigger group and whatnot. But this little piece right here, the thing that everything's pretty much connected to, is the lower receiver. This is the only part of the AR-15 that is serialized and something that you are required to register when you purchase it, unless you make your own or whatever. There's weird rules around that, but the lower here is the only thing that's considered the firearm. If you were to be notified that you were required to give up your firearm, you would not be breaking the law if you were to just give them the lower receiver. They might like look at you weird, like this isn't the gun. This isn't what we came for. But it is what's considered the gun in the eyes of the law. You wouldn't be breaking any laws by giving them just this. Not only would you be minimizing your loss if it came down to it, and you know, if they're threatening, like we're gonna start breaking into people's homes and taking their guns and stuff, you can give them this. You know, this is the gun. You know, I'm not recommending you go out and start a war with our military, police officers, SWAT teams, the FBI, the government. You know, I'm not recommending that at all. And that's why I'm suggesting, you know, if it comes down to it, give them the gun, but just give them the gun, if you know what I'm saying. What if it came down to violence, you know? I'm not prepared to defend myself against an entire fleet of soldiers or police officers or whatever. I mean, chances are I don't think our military would go against us, especially because they're basically fighting for our rights, and they're also taught to uphold our rights. So yeah, so I mean, what would you do, like if you were being threatened, if you were notified that, you know, in 10 days, you have 10 days to give up all your firearms, or if you just have an AR-15, to give up your AR-15, or will be forced to use force? What would you do? Would you say, like, I'm gonna hole up in my house and then shoot everyone that comes through that door? You know, I don't think that would work out well for an individual or an individual's family or the surrounding neighbors. You know, I don't think that'd be a good idea. Like if you're out in the woods and you lived out in the woods or in the country or something, you know, maybe you'd have a little bit more say in what goes on your property because you own this huge piece of land, you know, and then as long as you're not going around bothering people and they're not coming around bothering you, keep the peace and whatnot. I think that's a little bit different. But if you're in the city, in a residential area, and this home is the one that you're gonna, you know, lock down and really defend, I don't know if that would be smart. I think it'd be better to be compliant. So this is what I'm suggesting, and it's not me giving up. It's not me saying you should do whatever these people say over here because they think it's right. It doesn't matter if you think it's right. I'm not saying any of that. All I'm saying is if it came down to violence and you needed to protect your family from the government, not necessarily an intruder, but someone that has a lot of force that they can throw around, and you're pretty much guaranteed not to be able to defend your household, indefinitely. Give them the firearm. I'm going to do my best to keep mine, and I don't think it will come down to it, but it is something to think about. Sorry, my hair looks all crazy. I probably look like a gun conspiracy. I don't know what I look like. I actually haven't seen myself yet. I'm not really concerned with it. You can probably tell by, if this is the first time you're tuning into my channel, you can probably tell that I'm not insane just by my demeanor. Maybe I'm insane. I do ride BMX. These firearms are not only great for fun activities, they are great for defending yourself and your family and your friends. I would venture to say that they're great for hunting. They're just damn fun to have and cool to look at, and as long as you're safe and other people around you have an understanding of what this is and what it can do, I don't think it's a dangerous thing as long as you're responsible. Now the argument could be, well, others might not be responsible around you, and that's true. But that's true with anything. You have a car in your parking lot, and if you don't put those keys in a safe every night, or maybe you do. Maybe you got a Mercedes, but I don't know. But you don't put those keys in a safe every night. Your kids or someone can break into your house, steal your car, and go on a rampage and run a bunch of people over. That could boil down to you not being responsible, or they could just hotwire it. If you don't keep your car in the garage, you're not being responsible. They could hotwire your car, go on a rampage. It's a dangerous vehicle. They could use it as a bomb. You could, rig it to blow up a bank or something like that. There are so many things out there that are dangerous and that can be very dangerous in the hands of the wrong person. Just alcohol alone, drinking and driving can be more dangerous than this in the hands of the wrong person. People are taught to fear guns when they're young. Don't touch that. It'll cut your hand off. People are taught to fear, weapons in general. And of course, you should have respect for them, because it would be ridiculous not to know what this can do. But it is 100% dependent on the person wielding it, their responsibility, their experience. In my opinion, it would be better to have an entire country that is armed with the knowledge on how to use these weapons properly to defend themselves. I think there'd be less accidents. I really do. There is no right or wrong, guaranteed win-win anything. That's how it will be forever, because we're alive. That it's the world. You can't protect everyone from everything. You can't protect everything from everyone. You just can't. It's nature. That being said, I don't think that there shouldn't be laws. Of course, we should teach children it's wrong to hurt others, to kill people, to hurt things unnecessarily, to go out of their way, and all this bad stuff being brought to our attention. There's bad stuff happening all over the world, and the availability, of the internet, and just like I said, social media has brought so many problems to the surface and available for everyone to digest on a regular basis. I'm not saying this stuff happened every day in the past or whatever. I really do think it has to do with there's a bunch of crazy ass people out there. Crazy ass people are gonna do crazy ass things, and you can't predict the future. You can't predict when something bad is gonna happen, and you can't stop it from happening just because you create a law, or just because you do protests and things. You can bring awareness to the situation, but you can't stop it from happening when you don't know it's going to happen. It sucks. It really does. I'm not being insensitive to all the families that have been affected by these mass shootings and stuff, but trying to take away the law-abiding citizens' firearms is not going to solve. And people argue, well, this guy passed the mental health test or whatever, and he still got a firearm and he did it legally. Yeah, that's further proof that you cannot predict what's going to happen in the future. People change, people get crazier, things happen to them that make them change their viewpoints on life, and you can't control that. We have a child in this house. He is taught to respect these. He's taught to not play with them, not show his friends them, and he respects it. It's best to be upfront with your kids about your firearms. Don't hide it from them. Don't like treat it like a secret, because what's one of the biggest things, like, remember back when you were a kid, what's one of the biggest things that was mysterious? Maybe different things for you, but you know, your parents' bedroom, the room that you're not supposed to go in, a cabinet that's always locked for some reason, things that are out of your reach. You know, I've let him hold this. I've let him, well, he didn't want to shoot it, but I would have let him shoot it. I've let him shoot my other firearms. And that's my chickens. Teach your kids how to handle it, not for only their safety, but their friends' safety, and for possibly their future safety. You know, ignorance is dangerous. A lot of firearm-related accidents are due to ignorance or inexperience. You know, people shooting themselves on accident, or you know, people thinking it's a toy when it's not. You know, having respect for it is better than fearing it. Fear people. Don't fear inanimate objects that cannot walk around and do harm. Teach your kids. Don't give up your firearms. Give up your firearms. Stay safe. Have a good day. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in a future video.